Tozer once said, the most important thing about us is what comes into our minds when we think about God. I believe that's possibly one of the most profound things ever written down. See, what Tozer was getting at is really what drives culture and what drives society. So many of us have this strange view of God as this bearded man that's muscular and has a white toga on. Our God is so much more than that. In fact, our God is so big, so powerful, so strong that He literally spoke the entire cosmos into existence. Now, the reason that I feel that this subject is so important is because I believe that it's true. The most important thing about us is what comes into our minds as we think about God. And it's because of this. First and foremost, our beliefs directly affect culture. And even more specifically, what we believe drives the arts. So let me explain that. Art is an outward expression of internal ideas, beliefs, and emotions. The place that we get our art from is from within. I want you to think for a minute about your favorite song ever written and think about the lyrics. Do you believe for even one moment that the artist that wrote those lyrics doesn't have strong beliefs about what he was writing about or she was writing about? See, even today a lot of the music is about money, sex, drugs, and things like that. But there's a fundamental belief behind it, and it's that if I appeal to a mass crowd, I'll make a lot of money. See, what we believe directly drives the arts. One of the most experienced art forms today that almost everybody is kind of bought into is the movie industry, the television industry. And I just want you to think for a moment, one of my favorite movies of all time is Fight Club. Alright, as a Christian maybe it shouldn't be, but it is. But the fundamental belief system behind that movie is that you can give up all of your possessions and be a happier person for it. It's a fundamental belief. It was really a communist view that they were trying to push in that movie, which I am not, but that's what they were trying to push. Regardless, it was a belief system that drove the writing of that film. Let's move on though. What does culture receive from the arts? Well, if our beliefs affect art, art affects culture. Let me explain that to you. When we start to see different things fed through us, let's just stick with television for a moment. When we start to see things fed to us continually on the television, society starts to accept those things and even believe those things because they're being fed this constantly. Let me explain it like this. 15, 20 years ago, could you imagine ever seeing a homosexual in a commercial? I would imagine not. But nowadays, over time, being introduced through movies and television and sitcoms, homosexuality has been broadly accepted because we've been fed that and shown over and over and over again that we should be accepting of that. We've been taught to accept it. Someone's belief system about homosexuality was fed into the arts and then fed to the culture via music, painting, television, things like that. So what does that mean for us? Well, it means that our beliefs affect art, art affects culture. But what does culture affect? Well, culture drives our societal constructs. See, every societal construct that we've had in Western civilization for years and years and years are now under attack for the very fundamental idea that truth is relative. Truth is not and cannot be relative, but it's taught to us because of the belief system that many people hold. It's taught to us time and time and time again. It's on kids' shows, it's on adult shows, it's in music, it's in literature, it's all over. If we continue to have a poor view of God, If we continue to think of God as some bearded fella that sits up with a toga and just looks at us and giggles when we do something funny and gets mad when we do something wrong, if that's how we view God, we're doomed. We are doomed as Western society. It's time that we get back to a real understanding of who God is. God is the one who from the very beginning and foundations of the earth created everything through the Word, because everything would have to pass back through the Word to be restored again. Jesus Christ achieved something great when he rose from the dead. Yes, he laid his life down on a cross, but he rose 3 days later. He conquered sin and death, and he did that as a perfect sacrifice. It allowed God to remain just. He poured his wrath out on sin, and to remain merciful, he gives us grace through Jesus Christ. It's the only way for him to achieve perfection and continue in relationship with us. What we believe about God is drastically important. Let us never forget that. Ladies and gentlemen, don't spread crap, spread the gospel. Peace.